Evolution of Life and Form by Annie Besant. Narrated by James Harrington. First lecture, Ancient and Modern Science. My brothers, the subject on which I am to address you this morning, and the 3 mornings that follow, is one of considerable complexity and difficulty. I do not apologize to you for the difficulty of my theme. When we meet here in our anniversary meeting, we meet as students and not simply as superficial men and women of the world. We try to prepare ourselves by study for the exchange of thought which in these gatherings takes place. And although the subject is a difficult one, although it is not possible to make it clear and intelligible without the use of certain technical terms, yet, to the student, technical terms, being precise, are really the easiest to understand, and inasmuch as, in a great majority at least, we are students who speak, and you who listen, we may be content to treat the subject in a somewhat formal and technical way. Roughly, my outline is this. I want to lay before you an intelligible conception of evolution, taking it on its 2 sides, that of the evolving life and that of the 6 developing forms. I begin by laying before you a sketch of the methods of ancient and modern science, the direction in which each has worked and is working, the ultimate union that we hope may take place between them. For what could more fully presage the good of the whole world? What could promise more happily for the relationship between the different races of humanity than to draw together on the plane of mind the science of antiquity and of modern days, the science of the East and of the West, and by wedding them to each other, draw together the nations that are now divided, and make objective that brotherhood of humanity of which we dream. Dealing first with ancient and modern science in this broad and general way, and taking that as my subject for this morning, I shall pass on tomorrow to speak on the functions of the gods, meaning by that phrase the activities of that invisible side of nature on which the whole of the visible depends. Whether we use here the name devas to represent those developed spiritual intelligences, or whether with the child of Islam, with the Hebrew, or the Christian, we speak of the angels and archangels, the name matters nothing. The conception is common to every faith of man. We shall study their functions in the universe and try to understand how they 7 act as the ministers of the divine will. Then we shall pass on to treat of that evolution of life, which lies underneath the evolution of forms. Finally, we shall treat the evolution of forms and see how, in that evolution, is the promise of final perfection, how all is working to a perfect ending, how the best that we can dream of is less than the performance of God. That is the outline of our work. Let us at once begin the first section of the subject, Ancient and Modern Science. Now, in the olden times, in those times to which in this land...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?